Hello, family. There's already a good handful of you guys in here and super chats to boot. All right, right off the tippy top. Thank you, BB and Thea Smeister. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but thank you for the 50 whatever currency that is. What country are you in, girl? Thank you so much because we need people like you. Oh, that melts the cage of ice surrounding my heart. Hi, everybody. Oh, and that reminds me, actually, thank you too for those super chats. Very much appreciated, especially since YouTube. I must have a target on my back because they're demonetizing you, girl. But I also want to thank Nalani McNeil, girl. I don't know if you're here, but I saw your super chat from a couple nights ago after my stream had ended. Very generous. Thank you so much if you're watching, as well as Cece, because you sent 2 super chats during that live stream, which is I'm very, very humble and grateful. Thank you so much for that. So I don't know if all y'all are here tonight, but if you see it later, I just want you guys to know how much I appreciate these super chats. Yeah, it's about YouTube takes a cut of everything, unfortunately. So what can you do? Including AdSense, you know, they take like half or something. It's crazy. Hopefully, though, this is the last time for a long time that I will need to discuss any of these people. That's that's my hope, because I feel like I'm just like only talking about James Charles and Tati and racist Star. But look, these are big issues, and I don't want it to seem like I'm picking on Tati either. I mean, the title of the live stream, as I have it right now, is a bit of a I'm throwing shade. I'm not gonna lie, but this entire situation is just such a microcosm of the direction that we're going in on this platform as content creators, as content consumers, viewers, whatever you want to call it, as consumers, period, and just as people, just as human beings trying our best to live in a society. So what these big YouTubers do, I think I said this in the live stream I did at the beginning of the week, you know, the Jeffree Stars, the James Charles, the Tatis, the PewDiePies, the whoever, all these big YouTubers are accountable for what they're doing on these platforms, you know, and like who we align ourselves with, who we promote. All of that shit matters because their influence is very real, and the things that they do affect behaviors amongst very young audiences, and it affects people with smaller channels. So I don't know. I feel like I need to talk about all this shit. So for those who don't know, because I see some of you guys are like, good Lord, like what did Tati do now? She did another video yesterday called Why I Did It. And the tears are flowing, man. Tears were flowing. That's what she's good at. I don't know how many of you guys have seen it. I feel like some of you have, some of you probably have not. I only knew she put it up because my new favorite YouTuber, As Told by Kenya, did a response video yesterday. And I actually saw the response video. I watched Kenya's videos as soon as I'm aware of them. So I watched her video immediately. And then I went and I watched Tati's. And it was basically just going through her version of why she did the Bye Sister video. So in yesterday's video, I do believe her when she says she didn't think this would get as big as it did. I don't think she really thought that this was going to result in her going from 6 to now over 10 million subscribers behind this. I don't think she thought it was going to be that huge. And she also said that she thought she would be the one to take the hit in that video and that she was going to possibly lose subscribers behind all this. But Again, I believe she considered that very real possibility because we do know that James Charles, to this day, has the larger audience. He has the younger, more impressionable, and therefore more likely to pop off audience. But as I said in my first video, I also very much believe that she and her camp did a risk assessment, okay? They crunched the numbers or whatever, and they knew exactly what they were doing. This was a risk, but this risk was calculated. And this isn't even the first time that Tati has done this kind of thing where she's done a video like calling out another YouTuber who, in her opinion, did something to her. I mean, James Charles definitely did do something to her. But just this week, I learned of another time that Tati was crying on camera about being bullied by another much smaller channel named Kiki Chanel. and basically sicked her audience on that YouTuber to the point that Kiki was receiving death threats and had to like shut down the comments and the thumbsing up, thumbsing down on her video that Tati felt that she was attacked in. It was ridiculous. So this is her MO. Like, this is the only difference here is this is the first time she did this to someone with a larger following than what she had. And she, again, like in the video from yesterday, she touched on how she tried to deliver this message to James so many times. And like, we covered that, Tati. Like, we talked about that in the Bi Sister video, but it doesn't change the fact that she could have disassociated with James Charles myriad times over the past 3 years if whatever message she was giving to him still wasn't being received. She had so many opportunities to separate and disassociate herself, and she could have done so privately and quietly, which is what she should have done if she wasn't about revenge. But she was about revenge, is my point. Like, that's why you did it. It's about payback. So I don't know. I think like if she had done it quietly, you know, the drama channels probably would have gone on and had to speculate rather than know for certain about like why they weren't appearing on each other's channels anymore. And they would have all done all sorts of videos about like Tati unfollowing him on Instagram or whatever, you know, all that high school shit that they love to turn into content already. But yeah, like doing any of this quietly would not have had the same effect. It wouldn't have like taught him a lesson and dragged him publicly to not basically hurt her feelings by taking a deal from her competitor and be so blatantly ungrateful for all that she did to help him in his career. So I do believe her when she says that she cares about him and cares about him as a friend and as a mentor, that sort of thing. Like, in fact, that's the only thing I think I do believe, at least believe 100%, because regardless of the fact that she is legit twice his age, which is another conversation entirely, I think that feeling of mentor-mentee, that sort of almost parental role that she took, like that's why she felt so betrayed to the point that she felt the need to do this Bi Sister video. I mean, even that title, like Bi Sister, is a sneak diss, if not an overt one. It's like, it's very catty. It's very high school. And the video, I mean, it reminds me so much of when Taylor Swift writes a song about some guy who dumped her. Like, it's the same thing. It's public shaming because she was offended privately or personally. I mean, I guess because the offense was also public and she was getting made fun of essentially for feeling hurt about it, which isn't cool either. I mean, that lowlife Gabriel Zamora, whatever his name is, who, I mean, Irrelevant doesn't even begin to cover it, but I'm not going to get into that. I think because she felt that him talking smack about her was just salt in the wound, I think that that was kind of the final straw for her to a certain extent. And I maintain, like, let me be clear. James Charles is no innocent in any of this. I don't like him now. I didn't like him before any of this, and I'm not going to start liking him after this. But I don't believe for 1 second that Tati seriously felt like she had no other choice but to put his shit on Front Street like this. Like, girl, please. I think that what's happening now is like with this whole Why I Did It video is now she's just really racked with guilt over how much she has benefited and how much he has suffered in the short term and how much this has temporarily hurt his business. And I sympathize with her feeling badly. I mean, trust and believe, I was raised Catholic, so my capacity for guilt is top shelf. Like, I get it. I get feeling guilty. I do think she does feel bad, but the video is still a backpedal. She doesn't like that some people, I mean, I'm sure she has no idea who I am and hasn't seen my video, but I can't be the only one out there calling her out for claiming that all of this wasn't a reaction to her being offended personally. I do think she feels bad over how far it went, but real talk, I don't think she could realistically have anticipated it working this well. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? Like, now that she's called off her dogs, which I do, again, think is sincere. I do think she does feel bad. James Charles is back up around 40,000 subscribers between yesterday and today when her video went up. 40,000. So he's no longer in the red on Social Blade. And it's just crazy to me. Like these people, like how easily can anybody think for themselves anymore? Like, is this the end of critical thinking? Like, is this next generation completely doomed to have any version of independent thought? It's really crazy. What else did I want to say? But yeah, like his Social Blade is back to green, and trust and believe this will continue. He never even dipped below 13 million subscribers, so he was never hurting that much anyway. And honestly, I feel like somebody needs to bottle and sell Tati's tears, because those are far more powerful than any fucking vitamin on earth. Jesus Christ. So I think like the celebrating of James Charles's downfall, and I said this on my first video about this entire this now trilogy. I think the celebrating of his downfall is tacky, still do, and I think it's also dangerous. I mean, he might be an asshole, but you don't want to drive someone to the point of being a danger to himself or to others. Someone in my comments actually reminded me of Brandon Truax, or I should say the late Brandon Truax, the CEO of Decium, who not too long ago took his own life. He was very visibly mentally ill. I mean, I don't think you even need to be a doctor to surmise that he was having mental health issues publicly because of this social media world that we're in, where social media marketing is so important for brands and stuff like that. And because his breakdown was happening publicly and people didn't have the sensitivity to be like, oh, like, let me not provoke this guy even more. Let me not go in on him even more. I feel like that certainly had to exacerbate his condition to the point that he ended up taking his own life. So that's why I just don't think it's cool, like no matter how much you dislike somebody, to go in on them when they are at a low point. And as many of y'all predicted, and as I predicted, James Charles is far from canceled. He's far, 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 far from canceled. Tati still has said nothing about Jeffree Star's predatory past, which I talked about on Wednesday, and his obvious hypocrisy in this whole situation, because she was rehashing James Charles's predatory behavior without talking about Jeffree Star's predatory past. I had some dipshit in my comments yesterday saying, well, Jeffree Star's behavior was in the past, so like that makes him not a hypocrite. It's like, do you understand do I need to copy and paste the definition of a hypocrite in my response to your asinine comment? Because that doesn't matter. The fact that you are chastising him for this behavior when you've done the same things and worse, by definition, makes him a hypocrite. Anyway, I said that she wouldn't say or do anything about Jeffree Star's predatory past in my now demonetized video where I talked about it, and that she continues to just ally with him and continues to, by allying with him, defend his racism. You know what I'm saying? And I also will reiterate, if you are silent about racism and complacent about racism, and then you support, defend, stand by a racist, and you refuse to hold racists accountable for their actions in any way, then you are a racist, period. That's it. And I also will say again, it's not up to you to forgive someone for something they did or said that offends another person or a group that you don't belong to. That's not your call. Quite frankly, like none of us are required to forgive a racist ever, apology or not. You're not required to accept an apology from someone who does something if you deem that action to be unforgivable. If someone drop kicked my dog, there she goes right there, minding her business like I should be. If someone drop kicked Ray Ray and then apologized, I am not required to accept that apology ever. The end. I don't have to. You fucking kicked my dog. Fuck you for life. Um, and by the way, like the whole like, oh, that was in the past thing. I mean, perhaps the predatory behavior is perhaps since, he's in a relationship now, referring to Jeffree Star, but he called Jackie Ina a gorilla, I want to say within the past 6 months. It was certainly sometime in 2018, I'm pretty sure. He says as racist as he's ever been. And Tati is dead wrong for continuing to associate with him. End of sentence. That's it. Anyway, I hope her 4 million new subscribers enjoy the like pre-filmed hot or not, what's new at the drugstore, whatever bullshit she's going to be uploading for the next few days. Like, do these people have any idea what they signed up for? Because like, that's what I was saying in my first video about this entire saga. It's like, I don't understand the logic of unsubscribing from James Charles and then subscribing to Tati. Like, what? That's like returning a mop so that you can replace it with barbecue sauce. Like, what is the connection here? Her tired ass content that she's been doing and that she will continue to do was there before. So if you were interested in that, you could have been subscribed to her. Like, what does disliking James Charles have to do with I don't get it. Anyway. Hey, Faith. Ray Ray says hello. Oh, Paulette, if anyone lays a finger on Ray Ray, I got it. I'm showing up shooting. Yeah, Isabel. He's been racist against Jackie Ina and Shayla, and God knows who else. And there have been reports from people who say that he continues to use the N-word behind closed doors. I would be more surprised if he didn't, but it's just like, you are so reckless. Like, this almost destroyed you. Somehow it didn't. And then you continue to use this language, which just means like it is ingrained in him. Thanks, Paulette. I might need somebody. You'll be my one phone call. Jennifer, that was sometime last year. He didn't do it in a video or anything. They were in text messages, I believe, from someone who was exposing Jeffree Star, someone who worked with him, like I want to say a hairstylist or something. But yeah, there were text messages of him. Isabel, I haven't written my Ulta letter yet either. Goldie, you're allowed to like James. Like, that's the thing. Like, you shouldn't feel like you're not allowed to like him if you want to. But that also doesn't mean that, okay, I'm not cool with this predatory behavior or alleged or not. I mean, some of it is pretty clear and some of it's alleged. Let me go subscribe to Tati now because I find him to be problematic now. Like, what the fuck is the correlation? Ashley, are you saying that are you talking about Tati seeing her video about James? Because I think that there are glimmers of truth and sincerity in some of the things she's saying, but I think that a lot of that is a facade, and she is far more strategic and calculating than she likes to let on. Yeah. I used to watch Tati. I watched her back in the day. It always kind of rubbed me the wrong way that that her original channel name was Glam Life Guru. Like, okay, girl. It just seemed like very self-aggrandizing and out of touch because even way back then, like the booty gurus out here weren't really doing it like that. Like they didn't have the reach and influence that they have now. So to call yourself a guru when you have, less than 100,000 subscribers or something is just a bit peculiar to me. And I remember the first thing that really, really turned me off was she did some video. I don't even think this was like part of the content of the video. And she said something about how whenever she sees someone with chipped nail polish, she just assumes that that person's entire life is in shambles. And I was just like, how out of touch are you that you would make such a leap of an assumption about someone because of some chipped nail polish? Like, as a matter of fact, chipped nail polish is a huge pet peeve of mine too. Like, once my nail polish chips, it's all coming off. But I would never, even if I thought that, I wouldn't fucking say it publicly. I would never be like, ew, like, get it together because someone has chipped nail. Like, what kind of, the privilege just jumped out. I don't know. I don't know how else to say it. It just really rubbed me the wrong way. And it was such a non sequitur. Oh, mahogany, you remember that? Yeah, this was a long time ago, but that was around when I was like, you know what? I think I'm cool on this white lady. No tea, no shade, but you are out of touch. Oh, thank you, Kimberly. Did anyone else super chat while I was ranting? Because sometimes I just kind of have to like make sure I get through all of my thoughts. So I'm more in my own head because I don't want to forget to say something. Kimberly, you are bringing up a point actually I wanted to ask you guys about because I've made it no secret. I haven't watched the Tati video. I've watched 2 Tati videos this week, in the past 7 days, I should say. And that is more Tati videos than I've watched in the past 4 to 5 years. That's 2 more Tati videos than I've watched in the past 4 to 5 years. So I was wondering, I mean, not only does she associate with Jeffree Star again and again and again, I wanted to ask, has she ever even reviewed like a collab from, so she never has, from Jackie or anyone? Not surprised, but that actually lacks subtlety. Like, you think she would at least fake it, at least pretend to care. She never reviews Black-owned brands. Because I know Nikki Tutorials, at least, like, I haven't watched her in a hot ass minute either, but like, I used to watch her up until maybe a year or 2 ago. And I remember her being like the big influencer to really put, I should say, the big white influencer to put Juvia's out there. That was also partly why I was kind of cool on Juvia's for a while too, because I feel like that brand decided to overlook all of the Black YouTubers who got them to the point that a Nikki Tutorials would even consider them, or more to the point where they could afford to have Nikki Tutorials do a product placement off the backs of, you know, Black content creators. And then once they had that cash cow, they were like, peace, thanks for nothing, really. So that always kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Okay, so Tati has reviewed Pat. I feel like Pat McGrath, to a certain extent, this isn't to diminish the fact that she is a massively successful, accomplished Black woman, but I feel like her brand almost transcends race, if that makes any sense to anyone, largely because of the fact that it's a luxury brand. She's reviewed Fenty. Okay. I guess I'll count that. Yeah. I mean, I feel like if you don't review Fenty, you're going to get called out. Like, was that even because she wanted to? Yeah, Felicia. Nikki loves Juvia's because the pigment is always crazy. And, you know, Nikki Tutorials loves her paint, man. She loves her paint. Faith, I agree. Like, Fenty is partially Black owned. I mean, because Rihanna has whatever stake she has, but it's still under that same parent company that owns, what is it, Kendo, which owns Kat Von D's brand and several others. So Fenty is, it's not really a black owned business. It's owned by Kendo, or at least partially. I don't know what the stake, I don't know what the split is between Rihanna and Kendo. Okay, she's reviewed Beauty Bakery multiple times. Okay, okay. I'll take that. I'll take that. Azalea Queen, I agree. People are really showing their ass. I feel like, I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older and there's almost a Doppler effect of the experiences of racism that I've had through every year of my life accumulating, where they're just seeming to be louder and louder and more intolerable to me, because it is just like, what else do I like? What else do we have to endure? Or, or perhaps both, because these things are not mutually exclusive. Or when y'all elected Trump, not y'all, not the people in this chat, because I know who my YouTube fam is. But when Trump was elected, to quote my dad, who is Trinidadian, and I remember calling him, I think the next day, and letting him know that I would be renewing my passport because it might be time for me to excommunicate. The day after Trump was elected, I was talking to my dad, and in his beautiful Trinidadian accent, which I will not do for you guys because I'm not drunk enough yet for that, he said, it's like someone turned on the light and now you can see all the roaches. And it was poignant because that has been the experience. I mean, even right now with all of this news coming out of Alabama, it's just like, what? So this is what y'all were up to this whole time? Like, anyone who thought that racism was over when Obama got elected was a damn fool. Like, I never thought that. Like, that was obviously never going to be the case, but I didn't realize how bad it still actually was. Like, I talk to my mom about this frequently, and I'm like, I feel like it might be even worse than it was, like, in the 70s. You know what I mean? She's just like, in some ways it is, because she was obviously alive, and she's like, in some ways I feel like it is. Because I don't know, I almost feel like, at least back then, if someone was racist, they were racist. Like, there was no secret about it. Now we have to deal with these racists being sneaky and then gaslighting you and lying to your face about not being racist. Tati? Yeah, I agree with you, Yen Oak. Overt racism has had a resurgence. Um, but I feel like covert racism isn't even as covert as they think it is. Like, it's pretty blatant still. Oh, good God. Oh my God, it's already 6:30 almost, you guys. I didn't want to keep y'all too long because it's a Friday night. I'm sure y'all all have plans. I'm planning to go out and dip it and do it and get it good. I want to go out and dance with my friends. But I just wanted to get some things off my chest since Tati came out with yet another video. I was just like, by the way, this doesn't change my opinion at all. So yeah, I just wanted to talk to you guys and get your ear for at least a little bit. A little bit. Thank you, Faith. Alexis, you say you experience racism in the military, even? I mean, I'm not surprised by that at all. Institutionalized racism, period. It is everywhere, including YouTube. See, now I'm probably going to get demonetized again for saying that, but we'll see. It's interesting because when I got demonetized the other night, it wasn't, they demonetized it immediately. And then I changed my title to not have the word predatory in it. And then it was monetized again for just long enough, I imagine, for the automatic captions to generate. And then I think because I was saying things about YouTube, the bots were like, oh no, this bitch isn't getting paid off of talking shit about our platform, using our platform. I know this sounds crazy probably to some people, but I don't think it is. I really don't. Oh, thank you, Azalea. My dad he's a very clever, insightful guy. I love my dad a lot. And I hope to be. I hope to. I hope to be a lot like him and my mom as I continue to get older. Because I know most people are like dread turning into their parents, and trust and believe, my parents still pluck my last nerve. Okay, but my parents are really great people. Like my mom is so kind and selfless and giving and thoughtful, and my dad is really like smart and like they both have really great qualities. So I just hope to be at least a fraction as good as them. All right, y'all. I'm gonna leave y'all alone. It's 6:30. So I don't want to take up y'all's Friday nights because I know everyone's in different time zones and stuff too. But thanks for listening to me and hanging out with me several times this week. And I will see y'all again. I promise normal content where I talk about like shampoo and squats and stuff like that is coming back. I'm actually hoping to have time to film a lookbook tomorrow, if I have time. So hopefully that'll be up soon. And then I have a hair video where I've shot the stuff where I'm actually doing my hair. I just have to film the talking part. So all that stuff, it's not going anywhere. It's just sometime not last month, I think it was back in March, I went to see KRS-One. If you don't know who he is, look it up. But KRS-One was doing a free talk out here, and I went to it, and he was just dropping wisdom bombs the entire time. And one of the things he said at that talk was, never be selfish with your purpose. And that has been rattling around in my brain ever since then, because I'm still trying to figure out what my purpose is, because all I ever wanted in life was to have my own place, to have a dog, and to have enough food to eat, water to drink. Like I never really wanted outlandish things. I just want I want money because I want freedom. That's it. I don't want money to have money. I just want money because money equals freedom, but that's another conversation. And I have those things. Like I have those things. So like beyond achieving those life goals, I'm not really sure what my purpose is. And I feel like I'm finding it out now as I expand what I do on this YouTube channel and talk about bigger issues with you guys and talk about things that are on my mind. I feel like you guys probably think that I'm a chatterbox all day, but I'm really not. Oh my God, thank you so much, BB. I'm a very self-contained person. Like I love my friends and I have fun with them and we have great talks, but I spend most of my time on my own, in my own head, and I just think about things a lot. And I just appreciate you guys for listening to me and like giving me this outlet to get these thoughts and ideas out, sharing your thoughts and opinions with me, because I do think it is important. Things like racism, we talk about it like it's this like tangible thing, but issues like racism and sexism, all that, they exist here. Like this is where racism is. So we have to work on this to work on racism. So I don't know. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks again for hanging out with me. Thank you again, BB, for another super chat in the same stream. You guys are too generous. And I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.